Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. But I'm going to put you up on my other phone. Let's see if it holds. I'm going to type this in and save it. Hi. I'm Lauren, Inspo by Nails on Instagram. And if you like inks like I like inks, this is the live for you. And go follow me over there because I have a lot of ink tutorials. I'm quite addicted to inks. I will tell you that right now. Fair warning. Hi. Hi, guys. So let's talk inks. Honestly, the biggest selection of inks online for us in North America, etc., I don't know, maybe anywhere, is Sweetie Nail Supply. They have so many brands of inks, and I know it gets confusing. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So I'm going to kind of break down which ones are water inks, which ones are alcohol inks, what you can use them for, easiest best practices, that kind of thing. The reason I'm addicted to inks is they are a very fast way to make a nail a little bit more dramatic. I do also love Japanese and Korean nuance looks, etc. And a touch of ink is always the key to finishing off a look for me. We know of some ink brands at Sweetie Nail Supply, like the Favorite is very, very popular. That is a water ink. But I'm going to show you all kinds of inks. Right? So hit me up with any questions. I will try and answer as best as I possibly can. And if I don't get to your question or you have further questions, feel free to DM me. Okay? I'm happy to talk with you guys about inks anytime and help you along the way. So the first brand of inks that I fell in love with at Sweetie Nail Supply was Morgel. Okay? And they have great inks. Look, this is the first white. This is in the first section. It's pretty low. It's a great white ink, and they are water inks. So one of the things that I showed with them, and there's a lot of colors, guys, a lot of colors, was the most simple. Let me get some of this out of the way. Hold on, spread so we can focus. Water inks are great because you do not need to use a matte nail surface. So that's going to save you some time, right? You have your base color on there. You wipe the inhibition layer. You never really put inks into an inhibition layer. So if your gel, if your base, if whatever you're using underneath has a tacky layer, wipe it before using your inks, okay? But one of the first things that I did with these, and let's try it again, and I loved them. I used them for so many things. And I feel like people have forgotten about them because inks are kind of trending right now, guys. So a lot of inks coming out. But they are so easy to just put on a nail and have the nail come alive. You can do little roses in seconds, right? These water inks are what you're going to use for plaids, for Crayola type looking designs, that you can go in with pencils or whatever else. Water inks are so great for that. They're so, so great for that. And there's lots of brands of water inks. Okay, so you're looking at Morgel. Okay. Honestly, I think the first collection, maybe a few collections, are already in that discounted, that Black Friday pre-sale. So, yeah. And what you want to do with the collection number 1, that also comes with their Blender Clear. Okay. And to show you what I would do with the Blender Clear, hold on one second. If a brand offers a clear blender, get it, okay? Because that is what they use to manipulate their inks, and that is what they use to blend them out and soften them. So even if we're just drawing like a simple little flower like this, and we can just erase it if we want to. Here's what we would do with like a green leaf, and let's say you want to soften it. Okay, if you wanted to soften that leaf, I mean, I probably wouldn't because it's a cute leaf right there. But fast, easy, inks are fast and easy. They're really, really, really fun. But you're always going to use their clear blender to get a softer blend. All right, so Moorgel's clear blender is really great. It comes in set number 1. But they're so much fun, you guys. Wait till you see what we're going to do today. Like you're going to have to shut me up because I love inks and I could talk about them all day long. Do you see what we did? We just softened it a little bit in that area right there. So you don't use a ton. All right, that's what's going to do the work of softening edges if you want it to, okay? All right, so I get a lot of questions about what can I use to blend inks if you don't have the clear blender. Alcohol usually is not going to touch it, okay? It's not really going to do much to it. Sometimes acetone erases it. But that's another cool thing about inks. Like if you're like, oh, that flower, I don't like it. It looks like garbage. Then just take it off if you can, you know? Oh, look, that's not going to take it off. I need acetone to take it off. And they dry like instantly. All right, so acetone is going to take it off the nail, okay? Another brand of water inks is going to be Yogurt ink. Blanc Blanc ink. Let's take a look at the difference between these two. Hold on one second. And Picasso, Yogo Mayo Picasso inks are also water inks. So there's a lot of different brands on there that you have to choose from. It really depends on what you want to achieve with your inks. Do you want to achieve like stripes or a plaid or something like that? Go with a water ink. Okay, they really are very, very easy to get on the nail. All right. So that's a Blanc Blanc ink. And you do always have to shake. Acetone can sometimes blend, but usually it'll just erase. Okay. If you do not have a clear blender, your best bet is to try like a gel cleanser. That would probably do a little bit better at softening the look than erasing the look. Okay. Alcohol inks are different. So I will explain the difference, and that's if you want to do marbling, that kind of thing, like really intricate ink type designs, you're going to want an alcohol ink. And Sweeties has those too. This one is the Yogurt brand. Okay, so they're both water inks, very similar. Okay. If you do this on a matte surface, here, let's take this off and see if we can take this off and do a matte. Then water inks are going to soak right into that surface, okay? So that's what you see a lot of times when you see the mattes that are all the colors that are crossed over one another, etc. That is water inks right on top of matte surface, okay? Let me put this yogurt away for a second. Yogurt pajamas, the first one was very, very bright. And the second one, Multifu, was softer, more fall tones. I tend to use a lot of browns, that kind of thing, because I like inks to give it just some depth, but like a natural feel. But let's just move on a little bit. All right, so always get the clear blender if the brand offers one. Things like Yogo Mayo, they don't offer one with theirs. They have 3 collections, I believe. Yeah, 3. The first one is like primary colors. The second one's really autumn. And then the third one is brights. And they're, yes, you can put it on a gloss base too. Yep, you can. Water inks, you can. Alcohol inks are a different story, and I think actually people are more curious about alcohol inks because they're a little bit harder to find. Not lots of the intro brands were water inks. Let me see here. Let me see what I did with that. Here we go. So really, more gel was like, and listen, they come like this. Okay, don't be worried. Just shake, shake, shake. Okay, make sure that you have, when you open them, you'll be like, wait, is that the right color? Yes, it is. Just shake it up. You want to hear a ball. Okay, make sure you shake, 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 and never, ever, ever leave your inks on the table without the caps on. Trust me. If an ink topples over, you're going to be really sorry. So another brand of water inks that are really, really, really popular are the Favorite. Okay, these are water inks. All right, and they are dramatic. They are natural. They are like there's a lot, okay, a lot on Sweetie Nail Supply. Like this, and they have lots of browns. Okay, so you can use them right over top a base that doesn't have the sticky layer, okay? Lots of good browns. They've got the specialty collections like Lipidos. Here, let's do that Lipidos one right now. So Lipidos, which sold out multiple times, and I'm sorry, I did not go on and see what is in stock and what is not. But Lipidos is the entire collection that looks like this. So you get them, they look like that. Look at all the pigment that's in there. Okay, the entire collection is like that. So see it? Was this last year? I don't remember, but this was one of the ones that premiered in like Tokyo, and then we were waiting for it to come. Look, okay, shake, shake, shake. When you have ones that are this pigment heavy, I actually store them like this, laying down, because if I store them like this, all that pigment goes to here, and this collection is so pigmented that it might be that much on the bottle of the pigment itself, and it takes forever to shake them up. So if you have ones that are like pearlescent or metallic, or you can see a ton of color, pigment, that kind of stuff at the bottom, your best bet is to lay them down. I put them, let me see if I can show you this. Here, I'm going to unclip you for a second. Excuse the mess, okay? But I keep them like this, okay? This is like a lipstick holder, and I keep them like this. So my gold, my silver, the Lipidos collection, they're like that. Okay, so you can really, they're a lot easier to distribute that color if they're laying down. Okay, so now you see this is much more evenly distributed. All right. And all it takes is a swipe. So here, let me move this for a second. When I'm taking an ink out of the bottle, I am not like just taking it out and putting it on the nail. It's too much ink, guys. You don't need it, okay? You're going to wipe it at least once. I'm going heavy with this brown, and I'm actually just going to swipe it on the nail like that, like so. All right, there's heavier areas of that copper pigment. You can add more back in if you want to. All right. Another thing you want to remember when playing with inks is give it a second to dry. Okay, give it a second. All right. You don't want to hit it right when that's so wet that the next color is going to just blend into it and turn to mud. They don't take long to dry. Okay. You just have to be patient for a second. What I do, shake the next color, right? Because they all need to shake, shake, shake. This is another Lipidos, okay? Rory. I don't know how to pronounce all the names, you guys. I'm really sorry about that. But this is another one. You can see when I turn it, like it has a flash of that metallic blue. They are absolutely gorgeous. The satin collection is going to be their pearlescent ones. Let me see if I can find one of those for you too. Perfect for the season. All right, so we are just putting some of this metallic blue on to the nail. We can take it over now because that has dried. When we put no wipe top coat on here, and I usually always put no wipe top coat on top of an ink because it shows the depth more. You see what's happening here? It's almost got a metallic sheen to it. That's the entire Lipidos collection. Here's also the Favorite Gold. This is Midnight Gold. Midnight Gold and Midnight Silver are their, I would say, most universal metallics. And they also have a metallic collection that's colored. Those are across the room. This collection is called Lipidos from the Favorite. If you can't find it, DM me. I'll send you a link. Okay? It gets very confusing on the website. I understand. You know, like there's so much stuff on there. But, my gosh. All right, so now we have the metallic gold on there too. There's no rules with inks. But I do want to show you how you can elevate something really, really easily with an ink. So let's say we take Meet You. All right, this is Skin Magnet 029. I put this up this week. And that little hit of ink at the end made it even prettier. All right, so they are so pretty. I think people just need to give themselves a day to play with them. I know people are curious about inks, but it definitely does take a little practice, just getting used to how much you want to deposit, how much you want to remove. But I will show you that also with the alcohol inks that are now available on Sweetie Nail Supply. So this is Meet You Skin Mag. All right. Really, really, really reactive magnets. Okay. Really reactive cat eye. Really beautiful. And we don't need to be perfect here because we're covering this up. We're going to cover this up with a little 3D gel and a little ink. Okay. I'm going to do a couple cat eye looks. I feel like I have so many cat eye, I want to embellish them all now. So inks is a great way to do that very, very, very quickly. So while we have that out, let's do two more. So this is Mayim B. All right, this is a Silky Mag. This is 006G. What does that say? SI. Okay. Hi, Sherry. I feel like all ink brands are different. Even if you have a bunch of water inks, they are all a little bit different. They all play a little bit differently. They all handle themselves a little bit differently. So you do need to give yourself time to play with whatever you picked up and see what it looks best on. Does it look best on a wiped surface? Does it look best on a matte? Does it look best on a glossy top? You know, like you can play with water inks that way. Alcohol inks really should be on a matte surface. Jeez, look at that. Mayim B. Always, always gorgeous. Like that's all we need because we are going to, again, cover this with other things. But we do want a magnetic pull. All right, because it's going to shine through what we do on top. All right, so good enough. All right, clear that. And let's do one more. Because I'm going to show you that green one that I put up in stories. These two right here are cat eye bases. All right. I'll show you. Do you see what happens when I move them? You see the light from the cat eye. It's not like you can really tell that initially, but if I turn it over, you can see the base was just a cat eye. The rest of this is all ink, okay? That makes them look like this. All right. So the other one that I used was also a Silky from Mayim B. It's 001. So this is the golden undertone one. If I have missed something, because I am chit-chatting away, guys. Fumble. Hold on. I don't need that. Okay. Drop the brush. I am chit-chatting and looking, but like I'm trying to get through a ton of these today so you guys have a good idea. Of course, we're going to save it. We always save the lives. I will save it to Sweetie Nail Supply's page. I will save it to my page, Inspo by Nails. That way, if you guys comment on it, I'll see it. And then usually Sweetie Nail Supply takes the lives and puts them up on YouTube for even easier playback. Okay. And that way, if you guys have an ink question, we can be like, hey, we just did a live with inks, you know, like, and that gives you some interesting tips. Oh my gosh. But I love them. I'm kind of addicted to inks. I really, really, really love them because I feel like they can do so many things and they can do it very quickly. Okay. So let's cure this one too. All right. We're going to leave those in the lamp and get back to this one. So these are really nice and strong cat eye. This is Meet You. Again, this is Meet You Skin Mag MG029. That is what I had used. So best practice for this, doing a 3D and then some chrome on top, you should probably put on a matte, but I'm not going to do it. All right. I don't feel like it. But if you're not careful with your chrome, you can do that. Okay. I'm going to take a 3D gel. You could use any like 3D gel. You could use, I'm going to use the No Wipe Maya B Meringue because it's right here. But you can use, there's a million on Sweetie Nail Supply. So you want a textured gel that looks kind of like this. And you want a stiffer brush. All right, like so. This is the Divock one. All right, and we're just going to put some of this on here and drag it like so that you can see some lines in it. Like I said, if you want to be careful, go ahead and put your matte or whatever you use underneath your chrome, you know, like so it doesn't stick. But hold on. We're gonna chrome just this bit. Okay, so I think we can kind of do that without having the protective mat on there. And it saves us time for the live. So the only thing that you want to be sure of before you cure like a 3D gel like this is make sure that your sidewalls are cleaned up. I'd be more careful if it was on my nail, but you know, for right this second, let's just do this. All right, we're going to cure this. And then we're going to put a touch of chrome on it. Speaking of chromes, there's a million amazing chrome options at Sweetie Nail Supply, whether you're using Bonnie B, Blanc Blanc, like so many, Nail Bio. So pick your fave. I'm just going to pick one that has, Clear. Okay, I'm just going to pick one that's quick, easy here. All right, we're just going to do that little tiny 3D part. And then we're going to put some clear over it. I think that's probably done. This is a bubble chrome from Clear. All right. They're really nice. Really nice. I feel like Black Friday is the time to try things that you've never tried before because you can get it on sale, right? And you can try something that you've been wanting to try, but while it's on a discount, you know, like it's a great time to do that. All right, that's probably good enough. Okay, so we have that texture in there. We have the cat eye in there, all the good things. So we're going to put on a coat of clear. All right. I'm going to get rid of that because my desk is already too crowded. Let me wipe it real quick. I don't want to put that in my clear. But we just want to even out this nail a little bit. All right. By the way, awesome clear, awesome base, awesome top. I've gone through multiple bottles of all of them. Really, 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 really good. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to still have to go over with the top coat. But let's get something on there to even it out a little bit. And then let's hit it with an ink. It's just going to darken it up. I just want you guys to see that you can use an ink as last step to make a totally different look to that nail. Give it a little bit more depth. I went pretty thick on that. I didn't need to. But you guys get the idea. Let me turn this upside down for a second. I wish I could be like attentive enough to wave to everybody. That would be awesome. I can't. I never am. My gosh. I just put on the live here. Oh, there, it jumped me to the right place. On my other phone, I was like, wait, that's the beginning. I'm not there. All right, so let's put that in. And let's grab a Favorite Brown. All right. So I was showing you guys those before. Not in the Lipidos. Lipidos is like metallic, that kind of stuff. Favorite has some great browns. This is from the Nature 2 collection. All right, this is Buna Trout Brown. And this, okay, Deep Brown. Oh, one of my favorite inks. It's so dark and moody. I love it. All right, so let me move some of these also while we're curing out of the way because I got so many inks on the table. We don't need all that. I mean, why not? But yeah, because I do want to talk to you about alcohol inks too. Right? All right. So again, before we put anything on here, we are wiping the inhibition layer. All right. The Favorite also has an amazing blending fluid. All right. So it's a clear blender. That is kind of what you want when you want a softer type clicking magnets. When you want a softer blend. All right, I'm using Trout Brown right this second. I think that's all I did with that one. All right. And we're going to change this a little bit. It's going to change a little bit. It's going to give it another layer of color. You see how it changed the color there? You can change a cat eye color. You can take a silver cat eye and put a red ink over top of it, and you now have a red cat eye. This is how versatile inks are. So you can do whatever you like. Here is what your clear blender will look like. Perfectly clear. Do not do what I did to my clear blender. I'm going to embarrassingly show you. No. Wipe on a little clean palette, like a little paper towel or something, if you don't want your blender to wind up looking like that. All right, but now we're going to break it up a little bit. We are just softening up some areas. So yes, there is a hint of brown. There's more going on here. And now when you look at the nail, it's more interesting, honestly, just from a touch of ink. Same thing you can do with a white ink. You can do it with anything that you want, guys. Like, that's the whole thing. If you don't like it, wipe it off. Start again. Use a metallic ink. Use a pearl ink. Use whatever you want. And you're going to get a very unique look. That is the coolest thing about them. Here, let's put some top coat on this. Because they look so much better with the glossy top. You can see what I mean now. I mean, that's 2 Lipidos and the Midnight Gold. Honestly, with metallic inks, there's 2 types, well, 2 brands that I would probably recommend. So yes, on the Favorite, the metallic inks that they have are excellent. They're called the Midnight series. Hold on, I'll show you one. And Artiste Bacci, but the difference is Artiste Bacci is alcohol inks and the Favorite is water inks. So see that all that metal in there? These are also laying on their sides. They've got too much pigment in them to not be laying on their sides. Like just out of pure, just to show you. Again, you remove most of the ink from the brush. All right. And this is going to be a beautiful metallic green. You could do a stripe. You could do like a bow, like a sticker over top. Like they're very, very, very pigmented. They're really pretty. All right, so that is Midnight series. So Midnight Pistachio, you'll see them, but that's the favorite. Then we're going to talk about Artis Davachi's metallic inks. They are an alcohol ink, so that's a little different. All right, I'll show you those two. Cleaning up here real quick, just to make some room. If I spill an ink during the live, I'd have to leave because I'd be crying. So I'm trying to keep things a little bit cleaned up. All right, so let's do this. Let's put a top coat on here. And that one will also be done. And then we'll move to those two really easy. We're going to move to these two. Okay, very simple. Any questions so far? Did I miss any questions so far? I'm not sure. But I can look and listen. Would a cat eye with 3D gel and a chrome look perfect? Sure. Just sharing that you can use your inks and make it look even more individualized, different. If you're into nuance, etc. Inks are 100% a must. All right. It is how they get color and layers and that kind of thing on the nail so quickly and thinly, right? This one's looking a little chunky wonky, but it's still cool. All right, let's move on to this. All right, this is the gold Mayan B. We are going to wipe the inhibition layer, and I'm going to show you Artis Davachi. Alcohol inks dry faster than water inks. Both of them evaporate very quickly. All right. They both evaporate really, really quickly. So when you're using a metallic ink, this might be the only time that you don't use matte. Because what happens is all this silver pigment in your metallic ink is going to suck in, like the color is going to suck into the matte, and then you're going to be left with like a silver on the nail. Like, okay, so you do not want to do that with metallic inks. Matte and metallic inks do not mix. This is Artis Davachi. This is their metallic ink line. And like, look at this green. It is the most gorgeous, like hunter green. And that is all I used on this nail. That's it. And I'll show ya. Their metallics are very sultry colors. They are really pretty. All right, so let me see if you guys can see that. See the sheen on that? You see the cat eye still reflecting underneath it. If you want to soften it up a bit, which I'm sure I probably did. Let's use gel cleanser. I don't think Artis Davachi has a clear. I don't think they do. I think they just say they wing it with a brush. Okay, like this is a craft brush. What size is it? 3000 round. Okay, just a craft brush. If you are using acetone, if you're using gel cleanser, the biggest thing about playing with inks and touching the nail, you want to get that on there and then touch a paper towel, something that's linty, because you don't want to flood the nail. You are just gently tapping to soften up some areas or to, like, I don't like that hard area right there. All right. I'm not drenching the nail. If I drench the nail, then it's going to like remove ink. It's going to be too much that goes away. So you want to tap, all right? Tap it in there and then touch. Okay. Tap it on the paper towel and then touch the nail. The coolest thing about these is when you have a thinner application of some of it, it's lighter, and then you have this deep green. They are a beautiful metallic series. We're going to use them on a couple just to show you because they're fun. But you also have to let inks do their thing. When you tap it with something like I just did, we're going to let the ink spread out and do its thing. All right, you don't want to overwork an ink nail. Just let it flow, okay? That's what they're meant to do, right? Just softening some edges. That's it, all right? So this is now basically done. All I did to magnify that nail, we're going to put a no wipe top on here. Let's see. Can be any, guys. I run out of bottled no wipe tops very quickly. And how beautiful is it that it's one coat of cat eye, one coat of ink, and it's so thin, it's not bulky. Some areas look more golden and some look more green. All right. You definitely want glossy. It's going to show all those little veins and differences like right there. The only thing that's going to make that show is a glossy top. Oh, we lost some people. That's okay. I think everybody usually comes back and watches these later because it's hard to get everybody at the same time. But do you see what I mean? Like, look how intricate this nail looks now with just one coat of the cat eye and one coat of that metallic green. So if you're into using the 3D gel to make parts stand out even more, you can, this is where you'd go do that, okay? If you're not, then your nail is done. Again, that's a personal preference, right? If you are doing that 3D finish, one of the ones I would suggest is Art Icing from Meet You. It's really good. It's really thick. It's really easy to use. I'll show you what I mean. All right, see, it hardly moves at all because it's super thick. But it's crystal clear, and it's great for that last little smoosh, okay? I'll show you as soon as it's done. And then we'll do this one. And same thing, but we're just going to layer things a little bit differently. And then we've got to move on to regular alcohol inks, like the Artista Voce regular colors, and also Meet You. Okay, Meet You, Mine B, I'm sorry, and Meet You. These are alcohol inks, all right? Meet You is also an alcohol ink, all right? And these are the ones that we went live with that, remember, have this type of brush, all right? So this is going to be great for any last minute. Let's say you want like just a little touch of white here. You know, this is great for depositing little tiny areas of ink. Doing like little tiny veins or last white swoosh. I feel like everybody, if you have one ink in your collection, make it a white one, okay? One ink. If you want to do rose quartz nails, if you want to do that kind of thing, all you need is a white ink, right? See now how that's just coming up the nail like that? White ink. I don't care what brand, they're all great. But yeah, that's what you want. All right. Got this funky one. Let's get rid of that. You see how ink deposits color, and interesting. I also got something else out for you guys because I thought, oh, you'll like that. All right, let's do this 3D smooshy part. All right, so we're going to take, and I don't do it big. I don't like the ones that look like really too big, but you're going to get a fair amount of this. This is art icing. All right. And what happens when you put it on there, it's like a magnifying glass. Do you see that? Like it's going to make the cat eye move a certain way. It's a line of light kind of thing, certainly, but it also magnifies different areas of the nail. So that this art icing does it all for you, like in one fell swoop. It's no wipe, all right? Maybe let's connect this so it's not so silly on the end there. But you see what that did. All right, so the interest, and you see how magnified this area is now? And it's still not super thick. Oh, are you guys having problems seeing this? I hope not. It's not showing me that there's problems. I know we had problems last week. All right, let me cure that. I hope not. All right. Maybe that's why people dropped off. All right. The other one we had, right? So we had this one, the silver. Again, nice little glow. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're covering it with lots of things. So let me show you this metallic. This metallic is Artiste Davachi. These are the metallic inks. This is 05. That green one, where'd I put it? Ah, that is 12. That's okay. We'll save it. Don't worry. We'll save it. It's not freezing on my end, so that's good because playback will be better. Artiste Davachi, that green is 12. Okay, there's a lot of them though. I think there's more than 16. Like there's a lot. They're really, really pretty. All right, this is 5. We're going to do the same thing we did with the green. Same thing we did with the green. Then we're going to do that 3D element, but then we're going to put inks on top of that, okay? So that is how we get more layered looks. Look at this. Look what like just a metallic ink does over top a cat eye. So pretty, right? Let's make it a little softer up here. A little, and like I said, they don't have a clear, so just use like a gel cleanser and let the inks move, all right? Let them do their thing. You want to add more? Go ahead and add more. All right, this is why I love them so much, because I feel like so quickly you can get a dramatic look, and they're so versatile. Like, guys, we have so many cat eye. Like, yeah, start doing this with them. Pretty. Okay, now let's put that away. Put this away. My God, guys, I'm going to take pictures of what my desk looks like after I'm live with you because it is ridiculous. So silly. All right. Put those over here. Now, we're going to do, actually we're not. We're going to go in with this. All right, we're going to go in with the art icing again. All right. Go in with this art icing. This time I'm going to blob some over here. Make it a little bit more funky. All right. You see that little blob? We're going to cure it. I'd totally wear those. Who am I kidding? I'd wear any ink nails. I love them. All right. So we did our 3D. Now we're going to go in with, while it's curing, this metallic. All right, this one is 07, and it's like purplish. See how these colors are very different. They're very, very artistic. Very pretty. Oh yeah, I see that. It's freezing on my other phone too. Whatever. I'm going to take you off there. Shake, shake, shake. You want to hear the ball. Artiste Vivace has a lot of inks, and I'll tell you what, when you see a brand that has a lot of inks, Morgel, the Favorite, Artiste Vivace, there's a reason for that. Okay, that means that they're in-demand inks and they keep making new collections because they're so good, people love them. So it's very cool when you have these major ink brands because you know you're getting something really good. All right, so now we are just going to use this on top the 3D part, okay? Like kinda. Do you see that maroon? It's like a burgundy, like a light purpley. You see how it gives it another element of color? Maybe we'll put it over here too. Maybe down here. And we're just using very little bit of ink, guys. That's it. You can move it around. You don't have to move it around. It honestly, it does its own thing and it looks great that way. All you have to do is top coat the whole thing. And then if you want, you can go in and do 3D on top of the 3D again, and that will magnify that. All right, so you've got a lot of things going on here, but it is a very natural and organic look because the inks do that for you. Okay? The inks do it all. Inks do most of the work for you, which is what is so cool about them, to be honest. If you allow them to. You have to allow them to flow and to move. So you've got two very similar but yet different looks, just with those metallic inks, okay? I want to show you a typical marble. All right, so a typical marble, you do need an alcohol ink. So you've got a couple alcohol inks at Sweeties now. Flicka, these are alcohol inks. Do you see there's no pigment in here? Like no chalkiness, anything like that? All right. It is done on a mat. Still, again, guys, not a ton of color. All right, it's kind of controlled. We're leaving some of that white. All right, so we are going to take acetone. Works great with alcohol inks. Again, if I'm putting my brush in acetone, I'm not using my beautiful nail gel brushes. I'm using a craft brush. This is, you know, it can handle the acetone. Just tap it on your paper towel or whatever before putting it on the nail. But see, this is when you're going to get all kinds of colors, all kinds of blends. All right, these inks are meant to move like so, all over the place. All right, you can still remove and you can create like teeny tiny veins. So if you're looking to do that kind of work, you need an alcohol ink. All right. Water inks are beautiful. I love them. They are definitely beneficial for many things. Marbling, not so much. All right. You can do it. You got to really know your ink. And it's usually frustrating for people. All right. Do you see the difference of what's happening with the Flicka alcohol ink compared to the water inks? All right. Another alcohol ink. Let's see if we can remove some of this. It might, sometimes alcohol inks do dye like a white base. Let's see what I can get here. See, it's going to dye it a little bit, but that's okay because look, show you another alcohol ink, Artis Davachi. Let's go in with black. And it will move. Matte, though, please. All right, you need to have matte base. But you see, it's kind of harder to move. This is what I mean. All ink brands are different. You have to play with it and see how it's going to move on what you're using. Whether it's matte base, wiped base, etc. You saw the Flicka just basically moves beautifully like an alcohol ink. These are too, but sometimes they're a little hybrid. So it's moving, just not as well as we'd really like it to. I also went real heavy on that black. But that's okay, let's do this now. Let's take white. They have a beautiful white. They actually have two beautiful whites. One's lighter, I think, and one's darker. Or here's brown, green. Like, they have really pretty colors, guys. They have neons. Again, a lot of inks. I believe that Sweetie Nail Supply is going to put on the website, because it is a question that's asked often, which inks are alcohol, which inks are, water. But here's the other thing, guys. Most of them are water inks. All right, most of the popular ones are water inks. These are very popular but new to Sweetie Nail Supply, right? And another thing is, if you're dropping this in while the nail is still wet, listen, inks will work for you that way too. You're going to have to do a different one of these because it's really holding pretty steady. All right, little black. Ooh, getting a little tricky there because, do you see that? You see it moving? Together, let it do that. All right. Tap, tap, tap. We're not flooding it, but we are definitely depositing inks all over the place. All right, you can, another thing I wanted to tell you, you can mix your inks, guys. So if you have a bunch of inks, and let's say lots of them are alcohol and lots of them are water, like try and stick with that, right? Because the way you manipulate them is going to be like what you use, right? Like a clear blender or acetone or that kind of thing. Usually I use water inks with water inks and alcohol inks with alcohol inks. But the only alcohol inks right now at Sweetie Nail Supply are Flicka, Artis Davachi, and Mayimbe. Okay. Oh, and one other thing. Okay. This is not your usual case. However, the Favorite pens, okay, the drawing pens, these are alcohol. It's probably why they're not in these, okay? So most of their inks are water inks, but the Favorite pens are alcohol inks, okay? And these are going to do something a little bit different than their regular inks. Okay, but that's it. Those are the only ones right now, I think. If I'm missing one, I will let you know. All right, so this is a muddled mess at this point, but hold on. Let's do a different one. Matte, all right, and this is This is another one. Artiste Davachi. Really beautiful colors. Very unique colors. All right. Do you see those veins? Here, let me show you another unique color. That is what an alcohol ink is going to do, with a little touch of acetone. All right. I have a white base so you can really see, but you can put it on top of anything, just as long as it's matte. Look at this one. Crazy pretty. Oh my gosh, you guys, how's it one? All right, I want to show you mine B too, because they're beautiful too. See that aqua? Here is a touch of acetone. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that. I think you can. Let's use a cold or something. You see all of those little tiny veins. When you put a top coat on top, here, let's do more gel again. I think this is also, yes, they're all closed now. Thanks. Yeah, we don't want any spills. Good Lord. We do not. I do get a little carried away when I'm live with you guys because I put too much out. But you see all those little subtle differences? That's an alcohol ink. That's Artiste Davachi. All right, alcohol, Flicka, alcohol, and Mayan B. Mayan B is almost like a combo though, to be honest. But again, another brand with a ton of collections. So when you see an ink brand that has a ton, well, a gel brand that has a ton of inks, there's a reason, okay? There is a reason for that. And that means because they're really good. Like the Favorite, tons of inks. Why? Because they're excellent. More gel, tons of inks. Excellent water inks. Artiste Davachi, tons of inks because they're great. Mayan B too, so many inks. All right, let me show you those. All right, and some of them are milky. Okay, like this gray, grayish bluish. And some of them are super sheer. So just have to take a look. If you guys get confused on there, just let me know. I'll help you. All right. You see that? Gray. I'm kind of letting it sink in. It's like a grayish blue. All right. But you can tap. You can move it. Soft, soft, soft. All right. You can use these over top of a no wipe also. Like here's one that's like totally clear. As long as we let that first one dry, we can go over top of this a little bit. They do have a clear ink though. Let me find that. Here it is. All right, so this is 000. That's their clear ink. All right, and that means it's their blender. All right. Where did this bottle go? Oh, okay, over here on the left. As long as it's not on the right, it's not really in danger. All right, let's use their clear. Lots of tapping. All right, it's just going to let these inks play with one another. You see? Super pretty. Super pretty. Inks are fun. They really, really, really... Here's another milky one. See? See it down there all that pigment. Shake, shake, shake. Look, and they have like aqua. Look at this one. Here, let's use that. So many colors, so many things. Like, you just have to have a play. And then, let me show you that meet you over top again. I think we're getting the hang of this, though. You guys have any questions while I'm looking? Here, let's do this aqua. Turquoise, like this minty color. It's an interesting color. It's not something you're going to find everywhere. And alcohol inks are really pretty pigmented. You see how deep that is? It's on a matte. We're going to use their clear. All right, everything's got this tops on. All right. If they offer a clear blender, pick it up. That's what they tested with, okay? That means it's going to give you the softest, nicest blend. All right? What set would you suggest for a newbie to get for inks? Honestly, if you're not going to get super complicated with marble, which I think you need to have a feel for inks for, I would do any of the water inks, and that would be Moor-Gel, the Favorite, that kind of thing. You can do your plaids, you can do your like just a line, you can do that kind of thing. I feel like that's a good place to begin and get used to inks. Do flowers, like that kind of stuff. So Moor-Gel, the Favorite, Yoga Mayo, Picasso, Yogurt Nail, that kind of thing. Although I feel like Moor-Gel is probably the easiest. Like their set 1 was so easy, like to play with. Here, let's do this up top too. Let's bring it full circle. All right. See these beautiful colors. Yogurt Nail is a water ink. It is not alcohol. All right, it's very easily moved. But that's also something that's great for fast looks. It's great for, and see, I'm using acetone. See how that doesn't work as well as their clear blender? So whatever they put in their clear blender, which they're all different, by the way, that doesn't help, I think, people avoid inks because they are all so different. So you kind of just want to test them out. I'd say set 1 from Moor-Gel, their first set, is amazing as a beginning ink set. And you also get white, which we all need white. Okay, white is definitely key for everything. And you get their clear blender in that collection. So that is the perfect choice, to be honest. Let's put a clear on here. And then let's do a white. I'll show you what I mean. It's another thing to consider if you're doing nails, and this is all ink, right? Let's do a clear real quick and then wipe the inhibition layer and then go in again. As long as you protected these bottom colors, you can go in with more colors on top. So we have a lot of saved lives, and we did a plaid, and just hit me up in the DM and I'll send you some that we did with a bunch of plaids, that kind of thing. I mean, guys, if I scroll far enough down, I probably can find the live from when Moor-Gel inks first hit, which was probably 2 to 3 years ago. Like, it's been a long time, honestly. And we have it. We saved it, you know, like, so there are plenty of those. Yeah. But I've run it kind of out of time for like an hour being on here. I don't like to make them too long. They're just too hard to watch back. But I'm sure I can find it for you. Or I can find you a reel 100% because so many reels. So many tutorials. Yeah. Do you know if Sweetie's going to add stock for some of the sold out ink collections? I know that they had said, if you're looking for something, please, Mark, notify me, because as soon as the website has it, you would be notified. I know they are restocking anything that comes in, And I also know that some things are held up at customs. So there's not much you can do about that. So these are the non-fun things about having a company bringing things in from another country, right? So yes, they're doing the best they can with that. So if something's coming in, hopefully it comes in while the sale's up. I would like you to keep in mind and remember too, guys, if you miss something now or it doesn't come in now, if you can wait, they do every year, they do a Boxing Day sale too. So I'm not saying I know what it is. I don't know what it is or what the discount will be, but it's a possibility that if you miss something now or it doesn't come in, that maybe it'll be up by then, which is right after Christmas, right? All right, so let's take white just to give it another layer. See that white? All right, this again is Artiste Davachi, so we want their clear blender. I'm already getting that funky. It's not supposed to be colored. It's supposed to be clear. I try and wipe that, but whatever. All right, tappity tap. Let's let this do its thing. It's going to give another layer of depth by just adding more inks over top a clear layer. Here's one other thing. Oh, thank you. You too. I can't believe Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Have you ever tried Fiote inks? Yes, I have. You can DM me. I'll give you details. Yep. They are also water inks. Okay. Yep. All right. Here's the Meet You. I love this little white. I love it. I love it because it's really pigmented. You see that? Goes across and down. But it's just so fast and so easy. I love that little white. And see how we can do that right over top? It's fine. Inks are meant to be your friend. Inks are meant to make things go faster. All right? You just have to trust the process. Let them do their thing. Let them flow. Don't overwork them. If you hate it, wipe the whole thing off. Practice. Play. Honestly, if you have an ink play day, I feel like you are going to love it. I don't think you could use acetone, alcohol inks on a regular nail polish because you need to manipulate it with acetone. So that's going to take off your base. So if you're trying to use inks over top a regular nail polish, the only shot I think is probably a water ink. Okay. Because alcohol inks have to use acetone or an acetone type clear blender, and you would not want that on your regular nail polish. That's why you see a lot of people using inks with gel because they can handle it, right? All right, guys, I'm going to save this. Hope that it doesn't give any trouble since you guys were having trouble watching. And I will talk to you super soon. I am available on my DMs. Ask anyone. I always answer. So if you have questions before you shop or anything else, let me know. I can help you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Rubbing alcohol is not going to work. No. Rubbing alcohol doesn't usually do anything with any ink. I'm not sure why, but it does not. So get the clear blender. And if it's offered, you've got the Favor, you've got My&B, you've got which other one was More Gel has an excellent clear blender, that kind of thing. So get those and just play. The more you play with them, the more comfortable you will become with them, I'm sure. And have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving weekend. Okay, and I'll be around. So if you need me, let me know. All right, guys. Bye. Safe travels for anyone who's traveling.